Hello Math Wizards! Today is a continuation of our lessons in variation and we will be applying what we have learned from the yesterday's activity. Let's start. In the previous lessons, we discussed about direct variation. So that is the relationship of two quantities, x and y, where as x increases, y also increases, or as y decreases, x also decreases. And the ratio between them is a constant, or the same for all given values of the variables. So if y varies directly as x and we say y is equal to kx or k is equal to y over x. And k is called the constant of variation. The other type of variation that we had is an inverse variation. It involves a relationship of two quantities, x and y, wherein as x increases, y decreases, or when y increases, x decreases, and their product remains constant. So if y varies inversely as x, or y varies proportional to y, or y is inversely proportional to x, then the equation will be y is equal to k over x, or k is equal to xy, where k is the constant of variation or constant of relationship. The other type of variation is the joint variation. It is a type of variation in which one variable varies directly to the product of two or more variables. The last one is a combined variation. It is a combination of direct and inverse variations happen at the same time. Relationship where a relationship where a variable depends on two or more other variables. Now, let us represent the given variation as an equation. Now, let's represent the given variation as an equation. Use k as constant of variation or proportionality. Number 1, a varies directly as r. So, a is equal to k r. That is how you will write if it is a direct variation. A pizza slice is inversely proportional to the number of persons n of persons to the number of n of persons who will eat. So that will be, let's say S is equal to k over n. Force F varies jointly as the mass m and acceleration a. So that will be jointly. So you will be having F is equal to k m a. E is proportional to the square of c. So definitely, E is equal to k c squared. So because of the word square, you will be raising c to 2. The volume of a can varies jointly as the height h and the square of the radius r. So V is equal to h and the square of r. So r squared. And you will be having k as a constant of variation. So v is equal to k h r squared. So let's move on. So let's have number 6. Y varies jointly as w and the square of x, and inversely as z. Therefore, you will be having y is equal to k as our constant of variation, varies jointly with w and the square of x, over inversely as c over z. So kung anong basa siyang sulat. So let's have number 7. The length L of a rectangle, so L, varies inversely as its width. The length L of a rectangle varies inversely as its width W. So K over W. Number 8. H, so you will write H, is directly proportional to G. So you will multiply G to K as our constant of variation, and inversely as the square of L over L, and we need to square it, so L squared. The weight W of an object is proportional to its sides. So the weight W of an object, W is equal to Ks. The variable b varies directly as the square of the variable t. So v is equal to k times the square of t. So t squared. So v is equal to kt squared. That is number 10. So now let's compare direct variation with inverse. Direct variation occurs when a situation produces a pair of variables whose ratio is a constant. And now we have an inverse variation occurs when a situation produces pair of variables whose product is a constant as well. So when we are to compare the two sets of tables here, table of values, as we compare the two table of values here, so what have you observed about the values of the both tables? So with the first representation, negative 2, negative 1, 1, 2, x increases. Dito sa y, negative 4, negative 2, 2, 4, the value of our y also increases. This is what we call a direct variation. Even though it is not directly stated that x varies directly as y, if two of the variables, the independent and the dependent variable, both increases, therefore it is a direct variation. So it means that y varies directly as x. The other one is, as what you can see, the value of x here from 80 becomes 60, 40, then 30. And then y, from 6 it becomes 9, 12, 16. Therefore, the value of x decreases, the value of y increases. So it is an inverse variation. Therefore, y varies inversely as x. So what have you observed with the values of the values in both tables? The first table, as x increases, y also increases. On the second table, as the value of x decreases, the value of y increases. What happened to the value of y when x is tripled or x is doubled? Okay, so let us first observe the constant between the two. So based on the definition, pag sinabi nating direct, the ratio is a constant. So you will be having, okay. So now let us compute for the constant of variation of the given tables. In the first table, the relationship is a direct variation. Therefore, let us try to prove that they have the same constant of variation if we divide y divided by x. So we will be having negative 4 divided by negative 2, that is equal to positive 2. If we have negative 2 over negative 1, you will have 2. If you have 2 over 1, you will also have 2. If you have 4 over 2, you will also have 2. Therefore, the constant of variation for this table of values is 2. So moving on to the second table, we will have this table represents an inverse variation. Therefore, let us try to multiply x and y because the product of the variables in an inverse variation will give you a constant. So let us multiply 80 times 6. The answer will be 480. If you will multiply 8 times 60, the answer is 480 as well. If you multiply 40 and 12, you will also lead to 480. And if you multiply 30 and 16, you will also have 480. Therefore, the constant of variation for this table will be 480. Let's move on. What happens to the values of y when x is doubled? Okay, so let's focus on the value. On the first table, let us focus with 1. If we multiply it by 2, 1 times 2, you will get 2. So, what happened to the value of y when x is doubled? So, when we multiply 2 to x, value of y, so 2, it will become 4. Therefore, if we double the value of x, the value of y also doubles. So, namumultiply din siya ng 2. If we have 40 and we multiply it by 2, you will get 80. So, mula dito naman sa 12, which is the value of y when x is 40, it becomes 6. So, what happened? It was divided into 2. So, kapag yung inverse, as you double the value of x, the value of y was divided by 2. So, the same when you multiply it by 3. So, kapag direct, pag multiply mo siya ng 3, yung value ng y magiging times 3 din. If you have, in an inverse variation, if you multiply 3 to the value of x, the value of y will be divided now by 3 since it is an inverse relationship. Now, let us solve. Suppose y varies directly as x and y is 21 when x is 3. Find x when y is 42. Okay? So, the given here is y varies directly as x. So, y is equal to kx. So, for us to easily identify our values, let's have our table of relationships. So, that will be x and y. So, when y is 21, x is 3. So, now, find x when y is 42. So, kung 42 daw yung y, ano daw yung x? That is the missing value in our problem. So, how are we going to identify the constant of variation? So, based on the given, it is already said that it was a direct variation. So, y is equal to kx. Let us solve for k by using this equation. You will be having y is equal to kx. Divide both sides by x. So, x here will be divided out. K will be isolated. You will be having y over x. Substituting k is equal to 21 over 3. Simplifying, 21 divided by 3 is equal to 7. Therefore, k is equal to 7. So, we will now substitute 7 to the given equation. So, you will have y. So, you will have y is equal to kx. So, substitute the value of k. So, y is equal to 7x. So, find x when y is 42. So, substitute mo yung 42 is equal to 7x. So, dividing both sides by 7, x will be isolated. X is equal to 42 divided by 7. The answer is 6. So, x now will be 6. Okay, so when you are using the table of values, mas madali. So, meron ka dyang x, y, 3, pagka 3 daw yung x, y is 21. Kapag y ay 42, ano ang mangyayari? Okay, so think of what is done. From 21, naging 42 siya. So, it means that 21 was multiplied to 2. So, ibig sabihin, 3 will also multiply to 2. Kaya, x is equal to 6. This is the other method of solving the equation or solving or getting the unknown. Okay, so this, the first solution is a detailed part. Ito medyo komplikado siya, but if you will get this method, mas madali, mas mabilis. Let's try another one. Suppose y varies directly as v and v is equal to 36 when g is 4. Find b when g is 11. Okay, so again, tignan lang natin. Y varies directly as g. So y is equal to kg. So let us create a table of relation. So this will be v. Okay, so g and v. So v is 36 when g is 4. Okay, so find b when g is 11. Okay, let us look for the value of our k. So I will now substitute 36 is equal to k times 4. So saan ang galing? I substitute the values of g and v, 36 and 4 to the equation. So ayan siya. Magiging dividing both sides by 4 so that k will be isolated. K will be equal to 36 over 4 or k is equal to 9. Okay, so now the equation of variation will be v is equal to 9g. Okay, so now I will substitute the values of g will be 11. So v is equal to 9 times 11. Therefore, v is equal to 99. Let us move on. If y is directly proportional to the square of x and y is 45 when x is 3, what is the equation of variation? So, y is directly proportional to the square of x. So, let us create a table of values. If you have y, you have x is 3, you will be having y is 45. Kaya ako naglagay ng isa pa dito to have x squared. X squared is 9 and 45 yung y. Okay, so let us substitute. What is the equation of variation? Okay, so we will now substitute the value of x, y to our equation y, the tentative equation. So y is equal to kx squared. So you will be having 45 is equal to k. 9 squared, x squared is 9 based on the table. So I will be dividing both sides by 9. So it will become k is equal to 45 over 9. K is equal to 5. Therefore, the constant of variation is 5. I will now substitute to the given y is equal to kx squared. So it will now become y is equal to 5x squared. So this will be our equation of variation. So it is important that you will be having a tentative equation which is where k is the constant of variation. Let us move on and solve for another one. If m varies directly as the square of n and m is 10 when n is 5, find m when n is 10. So we will be having m varies directly to k, varies directly to the square of n, so n squared. So we will now create a table of relation. So this will be n squared, and m. Okay, so m is 10 when n is 5. N squared is 25. So find m when n is 10. So 10 squared is equal to 100. Ano ngayon yung m? So solve natin. So I will be using the tentative equation and I will substitute the initial values here. So you will be having 10 is equal to k times 25 kasi yung n squared 25. So I will now divide both sides by 25. So this will be divided out. K is equal to 10 over 25. We will get the lowest term of 10 over 25, and that is 2 over 5. And I will substitute now k to our tentative equation. M is equal to 2 over 5 n squared. And this was already the value of our k. This will be our equation of variation. Now, we will move on to solve for the value of m when n is 10. So, I will now substitute n squared, which is 100. So, m is equal to 2 over 5 times 100. Okay? So, hindi ko i-multiply agad-agad yung 100 times 2. So, I will divide out, get the common factors between 100 and 5, and that is 5. So, 5 divided by 5 is 1. 100 divided by 5 is 20. So, multiplying 2 times 20, m will now become 40. So, m is 40 here. Moving on, let's have another example. This one is already an inverse variation. So if y varies inversely as x, y is 3 when x is 4, find y when x is 6. So let's have a tentative equation where k is our constant of variation. Y is equal to k, inverse siya, so you will have over x, k over x. And then we will be having our table of relation x and y. So kapag ka daw yung y is 3, x is 4. Find y when x is 6. Okay, let us now have the equation of variation. So you will be having substituting the first values, which is 4 and 3, to our our tentative equation. So you will be having 3 is equal to k over 4. So solving for k, I will multiply both sides by 4. So this will be 12. 4 times 3 is 12. So madi-divide out yung 4 sa k over 4. So that will be 12 is equal to k. Okay, so now I will substitute the value of k to our tentative equation. Y is equal to 12 over x, and that is already the equation of variation. Okay, so y is equal to 12 over x. We will now solve for y when x is 6. So I will substitute 6 to x, so that will be 12 over 6. Y is equal to 2. Therefore, that is our final answer. When x is 6, y is 2. 3. If p varies inversely as the square of p and square of q, p is 3 when q is 4. Find p when q is 16. Let's have the tentative equation. P is equal to k over the square of q. Let's have now the table of relation. You will be having q squared all over p. So q is 4, p is 3, q squared is 16. So now I will substitute the initial values of p and q to the tentative equation. So p3 is equal to k all over 16. Okay, so 3 multiply both sides by 16. You will be having 48 is equal to k. Now I will substitute k as our constant of variation, the value of k, which is 48, p is equal to 48 q squared. Now, this is our equation of variation. So, find p when q is 16. So, kung q daw ay 16, find p. So, you will now substitute p is equal to 48 all over 16 squared. So, 16 squared is equal to 256. P is 48 over 256. So now we will pwede rin naman na you will not square para hindi lumaki. Gawin mo lang 16 times 16, and then you will get common factors between 48 and 16. So sa 48, the common factor is the common factor between 48 and 16, pwede tayo sa 8. So, this is 48 divided by 6, 8. 48 divided by 8 is 6. 16 divided by 8 is 2. And there is also a common factor, 16. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So P is equal to 3 over 16. So the value now will be 3 over 16. If y varies inversely as x and y is negative 2 when x is negative 8, find x when y is 2. Okay, so we will be having the tentative equation, y is equal to k over x. So you will have y is equal to negative 2. So let's have the table of relation x and y. X is negative 8, y is negative 2. So we will find x when y is 2. Let us now substitute the initial values of x and y to the tentative equation. Negative 2 is equal to k over negative 8. Cross multiply or multiplying both sides by negative 8, you will have 8 times negative 8 times negative 2, you will have 16 is equal to k. So now we will substitute 16 to the tentative equation. Y is equal to 16 over x. And that is our official equation of variation. So we will solve for x when y is 2. So I will just substitute 2 for y. So you will have 2 is equal to 16 over x. Cross multiply, multiplying both sides by x. So you will have 2x is equal to 16. Divide both sides by 2. X is equal to 8. So therefore, x is 8, y is 2 when x is 8. So 8, x is equal to 8 when y is 2. If w varies inversely as y and w is equal to 2 when x is 3, find w when y is 6. Okay, so you will be having the values of the tentative equation. W is inversely proportional to y. So w is equal to k over y. So let's have the table of relation. You will have y and w. Y is 3. W is 2. So when you are making table of relation, yung nasa ibabaw lagi yun ang independent. Yung nasa ibaba, yun ang dependent. Okay, find w when y is 6. Again, I will substitute the initial values of x and y, w and y, to our tentative equation. 2 is equal to k over 3. Multiplying both sides to solve for k by 3, you will have 6 is equal to k. So I will substitute k is equal to 6 to our tentative equation. W is equal to 6 over y. Okay, we will now solve for w when y is 6. So w is equal to 6 over 6. W is equal to 1. Let's have another example. Solve for the value of the constant of variation k from then find the missing value. So number 1, z varies jointly as x and y, and c is 60 when x is 5 and y is 6. Okay, so let's have first the equation. So z, tentative equation, you will be having z is equal to k x y. So table of relation here is not relevant already. So you will just manipulate the equation, substitute the initial values of x, y, and c. So you will have 60 is equal to k, x is 5, y is 6. So solving for k, you will divide both sides by 5 times 6 or 30. 5 times 6. So you will have k is equal to 60 divided by 30, because 5 times 6 is 30, you will have k is equal to 2. So our working equation now, c will be equal to 2xy. So you will now substitute, find z when x is 7 and y is 6. Substitute to our equation of variation. So z is equal to 2, z is 7, y is 6. So z is equal to, you will just multiply the 3, 2 times 7 times 6, you will lead to 84. So z is equal to 84. So if you are to find x when c is equal to 72, y is equal to 4. So again, I will just use our equation of variation. C is equal to 2 times, so C will be 72. 72 is equal to 2 times x, that is the missing variable, x, y is 4, so times 4. Okay, so we will be dividing both sides, multiply 2 and 4, 72 is equal to 8x. Dividing both sides by 8, x is equal to 9. So the answer for letter B is 9. This is A, this is B. And let's have C. Find y. Find y when z is 80 and x is 4. So I will use the equation of variation that we had. So c is equal to 2xy. So 80 is equal to 2 times x, which is 4, and y is the missing variable. So 80 is equal to 2 times 4, 8y. Dividing both sides by 8, y is equal to 10. So that is the values of the missing variables. Let's move on to number 2. Z varies jointly as x and y. Find z when if z is 3 when x is 3 and y is 15, find z when x is 6 and y is 9. Okay, so again, you will have the tentative working equation. So c is equal to k xy. Using the initial values of x, y, and z, z is 3, x is 3, y is 15. I will substitute to solve for k. 3 is equal to k times 3 times 15. So, multiplying 3 is equal to k times 45. Dividing both sides by 45, you will have k is equal to 1 over 15. So now I will substitute the value of k to our tentative equation. Z is equal to 1 over 15 xy. Or it could be c is equal to xy over 15. We are asked to solve for z when x is equal to 6, y is equal to 9. I will now substitute to our equation of variation. Z is equal to x is 6, y is 9, all over 15. Okay, there is a common factor between 15 and 6. That is 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Okay, so z now is equal to 2 times 9, 18, divided by 5. So z is equal to 18 over 5. Let's move on. Z varies jointly as the square root of the product of x and y. If z is 3 when x is 3 and y is 12, find x when z is 6 and y is 64. Okay, again, z is equal to k jointly as the square root of the product of xy, the square root of the product of xy. Okay, so initially you have z is equal to 3, x is equal to 3, y is equal to 12. I will substitute to our tentative equation. 3 is equal to k times the square root of 3 times 12, and I will solve now for k. Okay, 3 is equal to k. Square root of 3 times 12 is 36. 3 times 12 is 36. So square root of 36, 3 is equal to k times 6. Divide both sides by 6. K is equal to 1/2. Okay, so now I will substitute 1/2 to our initial tentative equation. Z is equal to 1/2 square root of xy. Okay, so we will now solve for x when z is equal to 6 and y is equal to 64. So I will now substitute the values of x, z, and y. You will have 6 is equal to 1/2 square root of x times 64. Okay, so we will now isolate the radical. So multiply both sides by 2. So this will become 12 is equal to the square root of x times 64. Okay, we need to square both sides so that we will be able to eliminate the radical sign. So squaring both sides, so 12 squared is 144 is equal to x or 64x. So this will be eliminated. The radical sign will be eliminated. So dividing both sides by 64. So now getting the lowest term of 144 over 64, x now will be equal to 9 over 4. W varies directly as x and y and inversely as v squared. And w is 1,200 when x is 4 and y is 9 and v is equal to 6. Find w when x is 3, y is 12, and v is 9. Okay, let's have the tentative equation. W is equal to k xy over v squared. Okay, let us solve for the value of k by using the initial values of x, y, w, and v. So w is equal to 1,200, x is equal to 4, y is equal to 9, v is equal to 6. So 1,200 is equal to k times 4 times 9 all over 6 squared. Okay, so multiplying both sides by x squared or 36. Ito is 36. So 1,200 times 36. I will not multiply it yet. So k will be 36. K times 4 times 9, that is 36. So dividing both sides by 36, k will be equal to 1,200. I will now substitute 1,200 to our initial, to our tentative equation. W is equal to 1,200 xy all over v squared. So I will now solve for w. Find w when x is 3, y is 12, v is 9. So I will substitute w is equal to 1,200, x is 3, y is 12, v is 9. So 9 squared. Okay, so w is equal to 1,200 times 3 times 12 all over 9 squared is 9 times 9. So there is a common factor between 3 and 9. So that is 3. So yung 3 will become 1, 9 will become 3. So ang mangyayari, 12 divided by 3 is 4. So magiging 4 yan. So W is equal to 1,200 as well. Will have a common factor with 9. So this is, there is a common factor which is 3. 1,200 divided by 3 is 400. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. So multiply 400, 1, and 4. You will have 1,600 divided by 3. So 1,600 now divided by 3 is our answer. So, pwede rin naman na ang gawin ninyo is you multiply 1,200 or 1,200 times 3 times 12. You will lead to 43,200 divided by 81. Pwede rin siya. Divided by 81, you will also lead to the same answer, which is 1,600 divided by 3. Let us move on and have number 4. Suppose P varies directly as B squared and inversely as S cubed. If P is 3 over 4, when B is 6 and S is 2, find B when P is 6 and S is 4. Okay, so let's have the tentative equation. P is equal to K B squared all over S cubed. Let's have the tentative values for P, B, and S. So P is equal to 3/4, B is equal to 6, S is equal to 2. I will substitute to the tentative equation to solve for K. 3 over 4 is equal to K times 6 squared all over S cubed is 2 all over 2 cubed. Okay, simplifying, we'll have 3 over 4 is equal to 36K all over 8. So isolating 36K, I will multiply 8 to the other side, to the numerator, 3. 3 times 8 is 24 over 8 over 4. 24 over 4 is equal to 36K. So solving, 36K is equal to 24 over 4. I will divide both sides by 36. So K will be equal to 24 over 4 times 36. Mamumultiply yung 36 dito sa 4 pag dinivide siya. So you will have K is equal to 24 over 4 times 36. K is equal to 24. 4 times 36 is equal to 144. And dividing 24 divided by 144, the answer will be 1 over 6. So K is 1 over 6. I will now substitute to the tentative equation. You will have 1 over 6 tapos B squared over S cubed. Mas madali siya pagka ganyan. So P is equal to B squared over 6S cubed. This will be our equation of variation. So we need to find B when P is equal to 6 and S is equal to 4. So magiging 6 is equal to B squared all over 6 times 4 raised to 3. Okay? So now I will multiply both sides by 6 for cube. So that will be 6 times 6 times 4 raised to 3 is equal to B squared. Ito lang, minultiply ko dito. So, 6 times 6 is 36. 6 cube is 64 is equal to B squared. Okay? So, I will now get the square root of both sides of the equation. So, it will become B is equal to the square root of 36 times 64. So, square root of 36 is 6. Square root of 64 is 8. 6 times 8, B is equal to 48. So, that is the value of B now. So, do the practice exercises and later on, we will check.
Like, share, and comment your suggestions on the comment box below, and don't forget to subscribe. To get notified with our latest videos, just click the notification bell.